Hey everybody, it's me, Angel Benton, and today we're talking all about The Young and the Restless. Now, they recently had their 11,000th episode, which is pretty amazing. Now, it isn't by far, it is not the grand dame of shows. I mean, both General Hospital and Days of Our Lives have been on the air for longer, but it is still pretty amazing that it's lasted that long. And the fact that it's been number one for decades is pretty outstanding. Although it is the sad state of daytime television today that, 20 years ago there was 8 million people watching Young and the Restless, and that put them at number one. Now they're just 3 million people watching, and they're still at number one, but that just shows how many people are migrating away from daytime TV. And I'm thinking that they need to change the way that they do the ratings, because, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Nielsen family. I actually had the opportunity to be one, and I tried to be one, and then they were like, "Oh, just kidding. We don't want you to be one." I was like, "God damn it!" Um, but I think the way that they do the ratings is a little bit old-fashioned because I. But you never know. It might soap's time might be coming and going. I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure that that does not happen, because I'm sure soaps are fighting for their lives. There used to be a time when there was four soaps on each network. I mean, there was 12 soaps on the air. Now there's only four. So that's a lot. So anyways, I digress. Young and the Restless, 11,000th episode. One of the things that I like about Young and the Restless is here's the thing that Young and the Restless does better than any other show. Better. I mean, so General Hospital, we'll get to General Hospital tomorrow, but General Hospital has been doing this lately, which is good. It's what they need to get their groove back. But Young and the Restless is really good at this. What Young and the Restless is good at is not there are a lot of times, because there have been it's been musical executive producers or musical head writers. I mean, they changed the staff so many times, all off on, constantly, that oftentimes storylines just get stopped in the middle of nothing. Like in the middle of the story, you would think it's going somewhere, and then they just change it, never mention it again, right? But what Young and the Restless does, and this is great, is that they have a tendency to go back in the past. And when I say the past, I mean the past. They go back into the past to dig up things. Like, for example, this is a good one. So Phyllis, before she went into her coma, back when she was played by Michelle Stafford, which I have nothing against the current Phyllis. I love her. She's great too. But this example happened with the older Phyllis, the previous Phyllis, not older, but the previous Phyllis. They were talking about how she went on trial for running down Paul and Christine. Is that a hair? Hold on. There we go. For running down Paul and Christine 20 years ago. Okay, that's 20 years that they left a plot point open that they came back and circled around and then closed. That's pretty fierce, okay? So for this 11,000th episode, they had two things. It actually wasn't even, in terms of like fanfare, there really wasn't any fanfare for it, which was fine, because what they did was they had two special things for the 11,000th episode. One was, so there's the Winters family, right? So there's Neil, there's his son Devon and his wife Hillary, and there's his daughter Lily and her husband Kane. I like Lily and Kane. There's a lot of drama with Lily and Kane. They're great. I'm over Devon and Hillary, though. Just get rid of them both. I mean, they're both kind of boring. And I thought that Neil was kind of boring too, until he started going into his past about his mother and why he didn't speak to his mom for so long, right? So finally he decides, I'm going to go. I haven't spoken to my mom in, 30 years, but I'm going to go talk to my mom, right? So he goes to visit his mother, who's in a hospice, and she's on her deathbed. And his mom was played by Nichelle Nichols, who used to play Uhura on Star Trek, the original Star Trek. That's pretty fierce, right? And she did a great job too. She was talking about how the reason why she left Neil and his family so many years ago was that because she was a drunk. She was a drunk, and Neil never knew that. Neil thought she was some adulterous, hooker that just left town, and she isn't. And once he heard that, he felt so bad. He was like, "I'm so sorry," because he realized he's an addict as well, a drunk also, you know. So and then he understood better why maybe he was a drunk, because he might have genetically inherited that from his mom. So he talked to his mom, and they had wonderful scenes together. It was the only thing I would have done a little bit differently is that there was no mention of his brother Malcolm, who is Shamar Moore, who's now not on the show anymore. But I mean, they're brothers, so you would think that, he said one time, "You left us kids," but no one ever mentioned Malcolm by name. So I mean, if they really wanted to know what was going on, I mean, has he not talked to his mom at all? Like, what is that going on? What's going on there? Like, why hasn't Malcolm been mentioned at all? That's kind of strange, just a little weird, right? But that was one thing that happened on the 11,000th episode. That was great. Another thing that happened was there, and most people, I promise you, will have missed this. They would not have even known that this happened. But there was a scene where Paul and Christine were at the GC AC, right, Genoa City Athletic Club, having dinner, and they were there, and Lily tells them, "Oh, your dinner's been paid for by this old lady in the corner." She says, "You remind her of her and her husband." And so they look over at this old lady, and she waves at them, and they blow her a kiss, right? That old lady was Lee Phillip Bell, who is the co-creator of Young and the Restless with her husband, her late husband, Bill Bell, way back in the day. So that, and wait, not just that, but Christine is actually her real life daughter. So that was really super cool and touching. I thought that was actually wonderful, and she looked fabulous too. She bitch looks amazing. Um, so I thought that was really really cool. Um, in terms of their whole 11,000th episode. Another thing that they've been doing for the 11,000 episodes is leading up to that day. They don't do this anymore. And it's really unfortunate, because I kind of looked forward to this part of the show, is that they had every cast member discuss all of the storylines that they've been on every year. Just for like the first 10 minutes of the show, they would just be talking about all sorts of things. And it was interesting hearing Eric Braden, who plays Victor, talk about Jeannie Cooper, who played Catherine Chancellor, and she was fierce. I'm not gonna lie, she was pretty fucking fierce. um, and Melody Thomas Scott was on talking about how she was there since she was a baby, when she first started stripping on the show. I mean, like, it was the best part of that show. I loved it. So today's show is brought to you by Bacardi Gold, because it is yummy. No, it's not really brought to you by them, but a girl can dream, right? um but yeah, so it's doing a much better than it has been doing in the past. So I'm giving Young and the Restless a lot of credit. Although I'm over Snowflake. I mean, Summer is, I love, I have, this is not against Hunter King, great actress, but the character of Summer is an idiot. She is an idiot. She has the worst taste in men. She goes after the worst guys ever, and it's annoying as hell to watch. What? Bye, girl. Ugh. Is there a boarding school in Switzerland that's got your name written on it? Actually, she's too old for boarding school, but I mean, it is a little bit ridiculous. And I wasn't feeling Chelsea with Nick, because I love Justin Hartley. I love Justin Hartley. He's hot. And I'm totally going to be watching This Is Us on NBC just because Justin Hartley's on it. But I do say, it's his death. has given Chelsea lots of good story. So she's got a lot of good shit to work with, and she's an incredible actress. And B, I wasn't really feeling her with Nick, but now I kind of am. So that's the thing too. Like, I might tell you one week, God, I hate so and so, but then the next week I might be like, oh well, the writers have turned it around, and now I kind of like them. So, like, because it's a soap opera, all things change. So I think that's wonderful. Anywho, that's really all the time I've got today. So tomorrow we're going to talk about General Hospital, which is the show I've been watching the longest since 1978. So we'll talk about that. And I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye.